Clutch Trucker filmed before a live and extremely fuzzy studio audience. I tried to get him a grooming appointment here in the Quad Cities area and for today, and yeah, that didn't happen. It's not the only thing that didn't happen today. It's just been a hell of a freaking week. Right, Rusty? Poor dog can hardly see. Hey YouTube, Clutch Trucker here. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Clutch Trucker channel. Alright, when last we spoke, I was in Bennett, Nebraska at that little Casey's on my, about to do my last leg of this marathon run that I picked up from Salem, Oregon all the way to Cincinnati in 3 days. Crazy, 2,400 miles in just over 3 days. Did make it there on time. I had a window until 3 p.m. Made it right just before 3 p.m. on Monday. Made it around to the back of the building, and then trying to back into the dock, and they had car parking painted right in front of the docks where they want you to deliver. Morons! I got some video of that. To use my wife's favorite word, this is just asinine. Let's put the car parking directly in front of the docks where the trucks need to back in. And this guy right here, as I'm trying to back into this dock, directly in front of where he's parked, he pulls into that spot as he sees me trying to back in here. Asshole. What the hell were they thinking? So I got unloaded there. I was out of hours for the day. So I just rolled PC all the way over to Greenburgh, Indiana, to the Petro there on I-74. It was about the closest one from where I was, really. Cincinnati doesn't really have any good place to park at all. Unless you want to go south across the river. There's 2 TAs down there, but they're cluster mugs, and I just refused to stay there. And besides, it was rush hour traffic. It would have taken me forever to get across there. They're working on that bridge going across, so forget about it for good ball. So I went over to Greenburgh, parked for the night. Next morning, then I was going to go pick up a load of like Monster beverages and stuff down in Greenland, Indiana, and that pickup went okay. And then that load was going to be going over to where the heck was it going? Had to refer to my notes here. Yeah, so that was going to Roanoke, Virginia. So picking up that day, going to delivering the next day. And after that long marathon run and everything, where I hadn't got all that much sleep, I was tired, so I stopped at this rest area just south of Cincinnati and took a little snooze. And this is what I woke up to. April 20th, and snowing in Kentucky. I love it, baby. Kind of crazy. So yeah, drove overnight, delivered down there in Roanoke, Virginia the next morning, then had to go over and pick up in Lynchburg, Virginia. And this is where everything started to fall apart. I'm on my way over there, and I'm on this, it's a split, 4-lane highway with a median in the middle, but it's one of these small Virginia ones where there's no shoulders. It's up and down, curving all around, and the speed limit's only 60. I'm going along, and there's a car in front of me all of a sudden is going like 30 miles an hour. So I look and make sure it's clear, and I whip over into the left lane, and then I got a guy right in my ass. And then once I get around that other car and get back over to the right, now the speed limit's dropping down to 50 from 60, and we got a stoplight coming up. He is just screaming at me, honking the horn, calling me everything but a nice young white boy, and I tell you, and he's saying, well, you cut me off. Okay, don't believe I did, because I made sure it was clear first. What I think happened is he was going about 80 miles an hour, was pissed off that I happened to move over into the lane in front of him, and he wasn't able to keep going 80 miles an hour. But, I could be wrong, and if I was wrong, and that guy's watching, because he said, well, you clutch trucker, you fucking baby, you've got it, telling me I'm number one. Well, if I was wrong, then I apologize. I will admit if I'm wrong. But I don't think I was. I think you were just going 80 miles an hour and were pissed off that I got in your way and had to slow you down. God forbid, made you go closer to the speed limit. Then I get over to where I'm picking up in Lynchburg, Virginia, Tomahawk Warehousing, where I will never be going again. And I'll tell you why. When you go inside and check into this place, they give you this piece of paper, obviously written by somebody who's fairly illiterate, saying things like, you will not park on our lot, you will not stay here, you will not do this, you will not do that, blah, blah. Nothing like, hey, drivers, could you please, respect our property, nothing like that. It's already got an aggressive, mean tone. And it says, you will not stop, close your doors, slide your tandems, do your paperwork on our lot. To see where to do that, go to number 4. And you go and look at number 4, and it says, all paperwork, all, logbook entries, whatever, must be done on Murray Place, the road leading into this warehouse, where, by the way, it's a 2-lane road with no shoulders and signs up, down, and down about every 10 feet saying no parking, which, of course, means we couldn't have done that. These guys are just being assholes. And, so I'm looking at that going, so I can't even close my doors on your lot? Because if I try to go out onto a main road without closing my doors, that's illegal. So, being the smart little ass I am sometimes, and I'm a stickler for people wording things correctly, when I go back in to get my paperwork, I said, by the way, according to this here, you're telling me I can't even close my doors on your property, which if I had to wait until I got onto the road, that's illegal. You're asking me to do something illegal. And I said it in about that tone. You would think I took a pen and stabbed this guy through the brain, through the eye, or raped puppies in front of him or something. He just started screaming at me left and right, calling me everything. And I'm like, okay, this is just obviously a bad day. And, he said, well, this is what it says, goddamn it. And I'm like, okay, it's not what it says. I can tell you what it says here. And you're saying, according to this, I can't even close my doors or slide my tandems here on your lot. Well, that's not what it means, and you should know that, goddamn. I'm like, okay, fine. He says, well, I suggest you never come here again if you get a load assigned here. I said, happily. I will never come here again. No, I'd rather not deal with you. And then he goes marching off, and I said, well, aren't you a treat? Then you think I just killed, Bugs Bunny in front of him or something. And he's, well, you need to just go ahead and leave. Okay, fine. I go out and leave, get in my truck. As I'm trying to get things together, he comes walking back out.
Since you wanted to start a skirmish over it, I want you to read that whole sentence.
Do not sit or close doors or slide tandems in the middle of the lot.
In the middle of the lot.
Right.
You can slide or close them at the door. We just don't want people parking in the middle of the lot.
But if you want me to finish reading it, go back to number 4 to see where to do that. Well, it said 5 on mine. And it said, no overnight lunch or break parking on our site. All paperwork and log work needs to be done on Murray Place.
Murray Place.
So if you read the entire thing.
Paperwork needs to be done on Murray Place.
Okay, I understand that.
At the door, not in the middle of the parking lot.
All right. Now, it's too bad Rusty's barking through this whole thing because, it's just proving how ignorant this guy is, and he's just all pissed off. The fact that he had to come back out just to keep yelling at me, it's like, come on, buddy, let it go. And I'm actually being fairly calm during all this. And at one point, you can't hear because Rusty's barking, but he says, well, he wanted me to read that thing back to him. And I did, I read to it. And he says, all right, see, it says you can't do that in the middle of the lot. And I said, okay, well, if I keep going, because the sentence continues, well, there's a comma there, he says. A comma ends the sentence. And I'm like, no, technically a comma does not end a sentence. Only a period or an exclamation mark or a question mark can end the sentence. And again, you'd think I just, stabbed Bugs Bunny through the face or something, because then it just continued. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm never going back there again. Like I say, they had an attitude before you even show up. They give you this piece of paper with attitude. It's like, I'm calm, I'm pretty easy to deal with, but if you're going to give me attitude first, I'm throwing it back at you. It was giant rolls of paper that was going up to Circleville, Ohio for the next day. And then that place, it's Georgia Pacific. Does it say Georgia Pacific anywhere on the building? No. It says Procter & Gamble. I had to loop around twice before I realized this is probably the place. You turn down this mud alley filled with trailers sitting there stuck in the mud. Let's look at that. This is Circleville, Ohio. Look at the place I'm delivering. Look at all this mud out here. Mud and water. These trailers are all stuck back here, sinking in the mud. This is, Georgia Pacific, although there's no signage on the building or on the road or anything that tells you that's where it is. Typical freaking receiver. This is what I've got on my trailer. I'm looking at the trailer in front of me actually right now. Giant rolls of paper. Those are huge. Fills the trailer top and bottom. And I've got the exact same thing. Waiting in line. There's only one dock where they unload these things. Here in the mud. Finally got unloaded there, and they had already given me a load for the next, well, for that night. Wasn't picking up till that night in Fremont, Ohio, because I've been trying to make my way back up to Iowa, because the Freightliner in Davenport has the injectors for my truck that I need, and they were going to be able to get me in, and this load picked up Thursday night, delivered starting with a window, the broker told me, and this is another freaking issue, at 1 a.m., and I had to just deliver before noon, they told me. So I was going to try to plan on being there early in the morning, and then shoot over to Freightliner when they opened at 7, because they would have needed all day to get that job done. Well, then of course everything fell apart with that. The pickup in Fremont, Ohio actually went fairly well. It's just it took a little longer than it should have, so that delayed me a little bit. I was having to do a split to make all this work. I did 7 hours off earlier, and I had to then wait a little bit longer there in Fremont before I could roll again. So it was still on track, so I could be there about 5 a.m., and then, of course, huge traffic jams in Chicago in the middle of the night, which I did not expect. That slowed me down. So I got there about 6:45 in the morning to Heinz in Muscatine, Iowa, and they say, oh, well, you had a 5 a.m. appointment. Well, the broker told me I had a window from 1 a.m. to noon. No, it's a 5 a.m. appointment. You're now a work-in. Me. So, of course, took them hours. So, of course, that shot my plan all to hell to get over to Freightliner to get my injectors done. So by the time I got out of there, it was too late. It's too freaking late. So I've been working for a week to try to make my way back up towards the Quad City area so I could get my new injectors put in, and no, that all fell apart. So then once I was all done there, I'd had like maybe 2 hours of sleep in the last 24 hours. So I found a little place to hide and slept. Then made my way over here to Walcott tonight after showing a 10 off, and you know, here's where I sit. I'm picking up tomorrow afternoon back at Heinz in Muscatine, Iowa, going down to Saginaw, Texas, which I had never heard of, but apparently it's just northwest of of Fort Worth. So that delivers Monday morning. So now I can't even wait here to try to get my injectors done on Monday, because now I already have another load. So now I'm going to have to spend next week trying to work my way back here to try to get that done again, and we need to get Rusty groomed because that poor dog can't see. So since I finally caught up on some sleep once I got over here to Walcott, then I finally got around to swapping out my inverter. If you watched my previous videos, you know I had an issue with my newer inverter where the GFCI outlet part fell into the case. Go Power, being a really good company, sent me another replacement immediately. Picked that up when I was through the house last time. I showed you that in my last video. And so I went ahead and rewired and replaced that one tonight, and I put up my new power block and everything, so I won't have to keep plugging in and out from the inverter, which should help it not have that issue again. So I got all that done. Let's take a look at that. Well, yeah, I did manage to get the inverters swapped out. So there's the new one down there. So you can see the white plug part there. The GFCI outlet part is all the way up like it should be. And then I also plugged in, mounted and plugged in my new power strip. So you can follow those two cords up there. One goes around behind the cabinet, which of course goes all the way around behind the bunk. Back up over here that you can't see because it's too dark, to my power strip over there. And here's my other one, the one I got just off of Amazon, called Yellow Jacket. It's a power block, actually. So my little light that shines down on my cabinet here, that was plugged into the inverter down there, is now plugged into my power strip. So I have 3 other extra outlets right over here above my only pretty much flat surface in this whole truck, that cabinet right there behind my driver's seat. So now I can plug in like the George Foreman, my Ninja Foodie, because when I use those, I put them down there on that flat surface. I can plug in my shaver to charge there, a phone if I needed to, what have you. So now that's mounted up there on that cabinet in a good position out of the way. There's always something to be done on these trucks and drivers. So if you're an owner-operator, just know whenever you have spare time, that's what you're doing. You're working on your truck. Still got the fog lights that I want to try to put in that I showed you in my last video. So I just didn't want to do that at night out here in the parking lot. So I did the stuff inside, got all that done. So we'll see. Hopefully next week will be a little bit better. This one kind of turned into a big pile of crap. Wasn't able to get those injectors in. I really need to get that done. But, you know, it's really hard to schedule something like that to get it worked in when you're working all the time as a truck driver. But, you know, got to take care of the truck too, so got to get that done. And I want to get Rusty groomed. At least I got a shower late last night when I saw the traffic was all backed up in Chicago. Pulled off and got a shower, thank God. So that's why I'm wearing the Barney shirt, as Big A-Hole Trucker calls it, or White Line Trucking is what he goes by now on YouTube. Anyway, so there's the story of a lovely lady. No. Running my ass off, you know, people yelling at me constantly, snow, mud, and then I couldn't even get the truck in for the injectors today like I was supposed to. So hopefully next week will be just a little bit better, right, Rusty? Yeah. We got to get you groomed. Look at that hair. Poor dog can't see. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe. As always, please like and comment if you would like to, only if you'd like to. Ring the bell for notifications so you know when new videos come out or you know when we go live. Don't forget about Clutch Trucker on Twitter, Clutch Trucker on Instagram. I've posted a couple of things on there this week because it's been almost a week since I've done a full video. And, you know, a couple of those things I posted on there, it did end up in this video. And as always, sniff that magic YouTube fairy dust. Clutch and Rusty, out. Woman! She was a thief, you gotta believe. She stole my heart and my cat. It's over here, come on. Right over here, come get your bacon strip. Up here. There you go. Happy dog. Happy dog. Got his bacon strip.